Welcome, 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 everybody. And you want real lead generation strategies that work, not just a little tips and tricks here and there. And that is why we have a special guest. She is Lady Jen Du Plessis. She is a business scaling architect and a sovereign leadership mentor. And get this, she has helped over 8,000 businesses to generate more than 400 million US in revenue. And her clients invest more than 60,000 for a VIP weekend with her. So here is your opportunity to get from this woman who has a wealth of experience, so much wisdom. And hey, did I mention before? She's also a best-selling author and a podcast host, a TV talk show host, and an international speaker. And by the way, the title lady is not just branding. She is actually knighted. Now, ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Lady Jen Du Plessis.
Hi there,
Welcome,
everyone.
welcome.
I'm
Welcome to you.
excited to be here. Yeah, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I can't wait.
I am delighted to. And of course, today you're going to be talking to us about strategies that actually work when it comes on to lead generation. And you said that you use organic strategies. So can you first of all define for us what that is? But you know what, before that, Lady Jen, I really ought to have asked you, tell us a little bit more about your story. How is it that you came to help 8,000 businesses to raise so much money or to grow that exponentially? Tell us about that story.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for asking. It's interesting because I think it's over 8,000 now, but I just haven't had a chance to find out. But I started my career in financial services and mortgage, and I learned really early on that business is never just about the transactions. And having spent more than 4 decades in high performance, male dominated industry, right? Um, yeah, where credibility, consistency, and relationships mattered more than anything. I succumbed to what I call the hustle, right? Being very successful, obviously, in that space, but I learned the cost of success was being in the hustle. And I'm sure you have all done that too, where someone told you, some guru said, you got to go out and hustle. You have to answer phone calls. You have to network. You have to do all those pieces. And I realized that this growth was happening without alignment, and it creates exhaustion. So raise your hand if you're exhausted, right? uh, and really, that became the turning point for me. I was outside of a restaurant, answering a call that my clients needed, told my husband I would only be 5 minutes. And I'm walking this, what I call a concrete balance beam, where you're walking and talking on the curb. And I looked over into the window and saw my family enjoying all these beautiful memories, but I was just never in them because I was chasing this hustle. And all I really wanted was harmony. And now what I do is I help people get out of the hustle and move into harmony.
Mm,
Harmony.
harmony.
Um,
And
yeah.
I remember you
Yeah.
talked a little bit about harmony when we were doing our initial conversation,
Right.
and I want you to get into that. Um, could you start first, though, by describing what is organic lead generation versus everything else, and then tie harmony into it for us?
Yeah, sure. Organic lead generation for me, it's the process of attracting qualified prospects through trust, credibility, visibility, because we need that too, relationships, and value driven conversations. It's not purely ads and posts. It's not that. And I built a business that generated over $400 million in revenue with just 22 relationships, and I still perform in that same way with my practice now, which is well over 7 figures. um, True. It's not random contact. I used to call it random acts of marketing, right? Random content. It's not inspirational quotes. It's not constantly saying book a call with me. True organic lead generation, it's intentional, right? There has to be a strategy behind that. And I think what most people practice, is the visibility piece, right? It's not organic lead generation. It's just like the more visible I am, the better. But if you're not clear, it doesn't work, right? They're posting, but they're not positioning themselves, and they're creating all this content, but not creating a conversation, a conversion conversation. And so it should feel like leadership, right?
Mm. You used two words a
Yeah.
while ago. You said posting versus positioning. Can you
Mhm.
give us what would be the top three things that would distinguish just regular posting from positioning, which is what you're saying that people
Right.
need?
Right. Yeah, it's not even really top 3 things because that gets back into posting again. Right?
All
Like,
right.
just give them the stuff, right?
Mhm.
It's guiding people through a better decision. It's kind of stepping out of this transactional piece and guiding people through, um, a better decision and not trying to manipulate them into one, right? So it works best when the content, the conversations, the relationships, the referrals, the stories, right? It's not chasing like, please notice me. It's here's what I stand for. And I know that we're going to talk about Christianity as well, right? But this is part of it, is this integrity. Here's what I stand for. Here's who I want to help. And here's the transformation I can create. And that sounds much different than notice me, because when it's well done, it makes you the trusted authority, and then people call you, right? It's not the chasing, it's the attraction. So it really is, here's what I stand for, here's who I help, and here's the transformation I make. Not, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just social media. I'm just talking about social media right now. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And in the time, because you've been in this industry for quite a while,
Mhm.
what changes have you seen that now cause you to say that it needs to be more organic?
Mhm.
Are changes in AI. There's the fact that people know
Yeah.
that they're being ushered into a funnel. People are not oblivious to these things anymore.
Right.
So how does the organic work? How
Yeah.
changed?
Well,
Mhm.
and first of all, I don't even think there's been a shift. I, I think it's not even really organic marketing, it's trust based
Mhm.
marketing, right? I don't think the shift has ever changed because I created this massive business with 22 people over 15 years ago, right? And I still do that today. So for me, it hasn't changed. It's always been about trust. And for me, it's been less is more.
Mm.
Always less is more, right? So it's not attention based marketing, which has always been, more posts, more posts, more posts, more emails, more emails. I got my funnel, more leads, more, here's my thing that I'm going to give to you.
Uh-huh.
And people are more, well, I'm not sure people are more sophisticated right now, but they are more sophisticated. I think they're still clamoring. There's a lot of clamoring going on and buying into shiny objects and things like that. But people are more sophisticated. They have the downloads. They've watched the videos. They've watched the webinars. They've sat through the pitch that was disguised as a training, right? And they know what it feels like to be a number in a funnel. So now I believe what we're seeing now is that the standard is higher, and I find people jumping on the bandwagon I've been driving for years, and
Mm.
and touting that it's not about 10,000 followers. It's about finding 12 apostles who love you and give you. I mean, so let me ask you this. If you had 12 people who gave you one quality referral, let's just say one quality referral every single month, which isn't a lead, it's a referral and it's a quality one because you're being edified. And so therefore the conversion ratio is higher. But if you had 12 people giving you 12 referrals, that's 144 referrals, almost guaranteed to close business on. How would that change your business? And then take it to the next step. Those same 12 people give you two. And that's my minimum requirement for someone to be one of my apostles, or my A plus sharks, tanks, whales, whatever you call them, champions. I call them apostles, but they each give me a minimum of two. That's 288 referrals. And if I'm selling a $5,000 product, it's $1 million business. It's just that simple.
Wow.
Right. And so the standard's higher. So again, it's always been, and again, I'm feeling it, this change and shift happen is like more posts, more emails, more lead magnets, more automation, more urgency, more, exclusivity. And what works now? Clear positioning, having a strong viewpoint, being a disruptor. Disruptive leadership is one of the biggest things I'm working on these days. But having a strong viewpoint, having real stories, real case studies, real lessons learned, thoughtful follow through, not follow not follow up. When you following up
Mm.
to see if you have
Follow
this
through, not follow up.
right, right. Because there's a big difference in, calling and saying, hey, I'm just following up to see if you've sent the contract and you're going to work with me and you're going to this, versus, hey, I'm following through to see if there's any further questions, some clarity that you need in helping you make that decision, right? It's a relationship equity. And it's the consistency, the slow burn over the intensity of you got to do it now or it's not going to be available.
Which people are really over that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they are. I think they're not saying, look, can you help me? I believe what they're saying now is, do I trust you? This is the know, like, trust. Do I
Right.
trust you? Do you understand my world? Are you saying something meaningful and not just something? I never use the word just. I'm sorry I said that. Are you saying something meaningful, or are you saying something that you think I need to hear in order for me to pull out my wallet? Do we have depth, or are we superficial? And are we operating in what's the most important thing for me in my business and my personal life is integrity. So the shift is now not from I captured a lead, I got a lead, to I'm cultivating a relationship. Do you see that one's like intense and hustle and the other's harmony?
Speak a little bit more about this harmony for us, please.
Yeah. Well, again, I felt like I was in the hustle because everyone told me I had to go do all these things to be successful. But, it's like eating soup with a fork, right? You're just exhausted every day. You're just doing the thing, doing the activity. And I really just wanted harmony. And I only wanted to do the business that I had already been doing, but do it in a better way. How could I not work 7 to 7, 7 days a week, but rather work 4 days a week? And I'm not talking about the 4-day work week. I'm talking about how can I do it? Right? How can I do it and not be in the hustle and have all these excuses for why I can't have dinner and I showed up late for recital practice pickup and, just all the excuses. And I believe me, I had them all. One day I might write the excuse book because I wrote them all. Right? I wrote all the excuses. Oh, my dog died and my phone didn't work and my car broke down. I mean, like all the excuses for why I was always late and running in that hustle. And I just wanted to find a way to be peaceful, right? And have this freedom. And I believe that people that are in hustle are afraid to go after harmony because they're afraid that they're going to lose money when they go to harmony. But what if you could have both? What if you could have
Having both, please, Lady John, because persons who go into business, service-based entrepreneurs, and especially Christian ones like us, we want to have the financial freedom and we want to have time freedom and we want to make impact on everything. But you have found a way to do it while having peace and not the hustle. So share a little bit more deeply into that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, you'll hear them say, don't work in your business, work on your business. And that's where the first place that people start, one of the first places that people start thinking, okay, if I work on my business, that's the part of it. But
Uh-huh.
what I find when working with my clients is that The on the business is little, it's like a bumblebee, like going to all these little, like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm looking for pollen, right? I'm going, oh, work here, bzz, and then bzz, bzz, and then they go right back to doing all the work of in their business. So it's just in, on,
Mm,
right? And I don't think you should work in or on your business. I think that you can live above and beyond that. And that's one of the biggest reasons that so many entrepreneurs are trapped in this vicious cycle. This 60 hours a week that was supposed to be temporary when I started my business has now become the norm.
mhm,
And so when we start thinking about our leadership skills and how we're leading ourselves, our family, because we need to lead ourselves first, but then if we lead our family, then that can bring positivity into the workplace as opposed to negativity. Because if there's chaos at home, we're going to find chaos in our businesses.
mhm,
And so for me and what I share with my clients is that we need to simmer down now. We need to slow down so we can speed up instead of speeding up to slow down. And we need to be intentionally focused on what will actually move the needle in our business. We need to become the CEO of our own lives and
mhm.
look at time is money. We hear that all the time, right? Time is money. It is. No, it really is. Time is money. So should I spend an hour on a podcast? Should I spend 30 minutes with doing a one-to-one, right, with somebody, having a business meeting and not having intention or focus or a plan behind why am I meeting? Am I meeting for the sake of meeting because I need to have a bunch of meetings? I think we're beyond the glorification of busyness. It was a big thing. I don't think we're there now. It's not glorified. It's almost shame. Like I'm so busy, I can't create business. Um, and this is where I feel most people are lacking in this is the not wanting to step into that leadership role. They're wielding a sword every day, going after battles every day, and you may win that battle, but only to get up tomorrow and fight another battle. And so if we can look at the scepter, right, the sword and the scepter, we can look at the scepter and say, we're going to stand back and we're going to strategically plan what our battles are going to be. We will have more time. So anytime you're like, I don't have enough time, that's a big key for me. That's a big antenna for me when someone says, I don't have enough time to do this. That's a priority management issue. And
Mm.
that's where it stems from, and not knowing what I should be doing first, second, and third that will move the needle on my business to give me the time and freedom that I need to go do what I want to do rather than have to do.
All right. I really want that point to sink in for everybody. So, everybody needs to be doing an audit of their business and how we're actually utilizing our time. Is it moving the needle or not moving the needle? If it's not moving the needle, then that's something that we want to push to the side. But something that is actually moving the needle, you're saying that that is what we now need to be giving greater focus to. And there are actually not many things that move the needle, when we
I
really think
know. I
of
know. Well, look, here's one little tip is do not look at email until midday. I don't look at any email till midday. Midday.
Uh-huh.
That's why we're right before we called, right? I was looking at my email and the text and that you had sent to me and everything. And I'm like, okay, now I'm plugged in for that. I don't look at email every day because if you do, or in the morning, because if you do, your whole day will be the result of a bunch of emails back and forth. Oh, I should send them an email. So use the time in the morning to move the needle on your business. Do what you really want to do that day. Then look at all the email. And guess what? It takes me 15 minutes to look at all my email midday, and I look at it again in the evening and it takes me maybe 10 minutes instead of I'm trapped in email. That's because you're sending emails at 8 and 9 in the morning and people are responding and you're responding back and they're responding and you're responding back. So if you don't respond, they won't respond. It'll free up
Mm.
your time.
Mm. And so what I'm hearing is it frees up your time to be focusing. The word, the good book says, be fruitful and multiply. It doesn't say be busy, right?
Right.
Fruitful and multiply.
Mhm.
So in order to be fruitful and purposeful, because we're going right back to what you were talking about building trust with our clients in order to have organic lead generation. And if we're therefore giving focus to what really moves the needle, we are being intentional about our time. I think we'll have a lot more time to focus on how do we actually make real connection with our clients, so that that organic spread of the word about our business would actually happen.
Yes. Yeah, because there's no time left to do that if all you do is look at emails all day.
So
And I'm not saying that people that are listening here are looking at emails all day, but I'm
mhm,
saying it is a trap.
it is a
And people are like, let me just see what the emails are that I need to look at. I'll knock them out. But at 5 o'clock, you're still knocking out emails because you've not picked up anything else you wanted to do, because it's just a vicious circle.
mhm. And because we're also trying to be so efficient, right? We want to make sure that persons know that we respond very quickly and that kind of thing in our businesses, right? Saying that we're
Yeah.
very responsive, right?
Yeah. But look, access to you
Mm,
is, oh, I wish I had a saying for this. Access to you, if you limit the access, you elevate your value. Does that make sense? This
mhm,
isn't the old days of, I got to return the phone call in 2 seconds. I have to return the email. I have to respond. How do I say, reacting versus responding? If you feel you have to react to all these emails, you are lowering your value. That is becoming, you're now on demand. You're telling everybody, I'm on demand. You have access to me anytime you want me. As soon as you call, I answer. As soon as you email, I react to you. Now let's shift it to respond. I will
mhm,
respond. This is not the old days of, hi, I answer phone calls between 2 and 4. It's not that kind of thing. That's not the positioning. This is, I will respond, right? I won't be chaotic when I
mhm.
respond. I'm
Right,
positioning myself to be in demand. When you
right.
go to the emergency room, that's on demand. I need something quick, quick. But when you go
Mhm,
to a doctor and it takes 7 months to get an appointment, their values increase, you pay more,
mm.
right? You do, and they pay you more. They pay you more when you are in a position of being in demand and responsive, as opposed to reactive and on demand.
All right, all right, all right. And so many persons are listening to us, and they're also trying to figure out how do they have premium positioning. And so
Mhm.
you're also sharing that that is one of the ways to have premium positioning with our clients.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I mean, this is not being stuffy. It's not being better than. It's not that. It's just that, is every single email going to move your business, or should you take the time to move your business? And there's a saying, a quote from Jim Rohn. He says, if you discipline yourself, no one will be able to discipline you.
Mm,
So I'm going to discipline myself and respond, and not quickly do a response and go, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't make the attachment. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, wrong person, all that reactive stuff. Now I'm responding, and I'm disciplining myself so that no one else gets to, because every email, every phone call, every need, every teammate saying, I need, is creating that situation for you.
hmm. I get it. I get it. I get it. Um, you know, when I knew that we were going to be having this conversation, I put
Mhm.
it out on LinkedIn and I asked
Mhm.
persons, what would you want to ask Lady Jen yourself? I'll
Mhm.
ask her on your behalf. And so Florence Calendar wrote in and she asked, what is the biggest mistake service based entrepreneurs make when trying to generate leads organically? And you'd have touched on some of them, but are there any others that you would say persons need to watch out for?
Yeah, well, again, I think the biggest mistake is creating content without a clear conversion conversation. It's just, let me just put it out there to put it out there. So be intentional with that, because what happens is that we're very generous. Entrepreneurs tend to be very generous, and we share tips and advice, encouragement, we educate, but the audience doesn't understand, well, what do they actually do? Right? what's
Mhm.
the problem they solve? What's the transformation that they're going to give to me? And, why is now the right time? So they become helpful, but not hireable. Like super good,
Helpful. Oh my goodness. Hold
not
on,
hireable.
Jen. That one is a drop mic moment. Helpful, not hireable.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
do we know if we're helpful and not hireable?
Well, being helpful builds goodwill and it feels warm and fuzzy, right? And especially as Christians, we love that too, right? We're going, oh, that feels so good. I'm helping people. But being clear will build your business, right? That's as easy as it is. The second mistake is trying to appeal to everyone. I've always said if you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. And
Mhm.
so if your organic, what you think is organic lead generation becomes very weak when the message is too broad. It's like a brown paper bag. What's in the bag? I don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. You're one of thousands of the same thing. But authority, right? If people can recognize, themselves in that message, um, and focus on authority, specificity, I can never pronounce that, and relationships, then you become the authority point of view. And that's a Tiffany's box. You know what you're getting. You're like, yummy. That's fun. Instead of, I'm a coach. And that's why I'm never a consultant. I am the business scaling consultant and the sovereign leadership mentor. No one does it like I do. Does it mean that I'm better or worse or the same? It doesn't matter. It's my unique thing that I'm bringing to the table. It's your uniqueness that you're bringing to the table that makes you the one and only. So I would tell her, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known for? That you helped a bunch of people and you declare bankruptcy, or that,
Oh,
you, right. And make sure you know what problem you solve better than most. What do you do that's better than most? Do your clients already believe in you, or do you need to convince them to believe in you? Right? Do they already, because your content out there is saying these are the things that I'm really, really great at, not, oh, believe me, trust me, this is what I can do for you. Do your stories prove that you can do transformation, whether it's yourself or them, or some other client? Does it prove that? And what conversation should your content naturally lead to? Your content should naturally lead to, oh, that's me, and I trust her, I want to work with him. It's not being everywhere, it's being unmistakable to the right people. And I serve 12 people. That's it. I have a very simple business model. 12 people at a very high level. I don't need to serve everybody. I need to serve the right people to give them the right transformation. And that's what you all should be doing as well.
so what I'm getting, by the way, 12. I think of the apostles,
Now, I call them my apostles.
right?
They're
And
my 12
so
apostles.
everybody, if you could have 12 clients, so what would the ideal 12 clients look like? And who are the persons in your existing client base? Because some persons have many clients
Mhm.
that will fit that bill to be your main 12. That,
Right. So
go
let
ahead.
me get clear on this too. I have apostles everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have 12 clients that I serve, and I have 12 referral partners.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was saying. If you had 12 referral partners giving you one more referral, one minimum of one referral a month, how would that change your business? What if they
Mm-hmm.
gave you two? How would that change your business? And what is the currency that you're giving or putting into that relationship? Right? Because it's not necessarily money, right? A referral is not money, not paying you, but they're giving you a way to get paid. But we should be doing the same thing for them. Can we refer them to clients? Could we connect them with people? Can I promote your something that you're doing? Can I support you at your event? Could I be a sponsor? Could I be a speaker? What could I do? So the currency in the relationship is what you're
Right.
looking for with those 12 people. Then that leads for me to the 12 clients. It could lead to multitude more. And I have more clients than that, but where I serve at the highest level that I serve, I only work with 12.
Wow.
And yeah,
Wow.
so
All
and
right.
it's sort of the keep it simple, stupid, right? Like keep it simple. Oh, silly, right? Keep it simple, silly. You don't need thousands and thousands of skimming the top relationships. What you need is deep, solid relationships with people that can refer you the people you want, and you don't need thousands of them either. I mean, imagine. So, imagine, and this is not my price point. Okay, but I'm just going to say, but let's say I charged $1 million a year for one client, and I had 12 of them. I make 12 million. It's just that easy. So
Yeah.
use whatever number you want. If it's 500,000, I make $6 million. If it's 100,000, I make $1.2 million. If it's 50,000, right? I'm going to make 500,000. So you have to know your numbers. That's part of being a business owner. That's part of being a steward of your business, carrying that sword and scepter, is knowing your numbers, and that you don't need every number. You need some of the right numbers.
Of the right numbers. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Lady Jen. Thank you so, so much.
My pleasure.
And as we end out, let me know if you're open to this, right? Because I did not prepare you before, right? But would you just say a prayer for us over the business people that are listening right now and all their businesses? Because some persons do need that prayer. And we just want to
Absolutely.
give them that kind of encouragement. And and after that, or maybe before, you know what? Can you speak about your free gift to us that will, of course, allow persons to connect with you and then close out in prayer?
Yeah, absolutely. I believe my free gift is sovereign leadership, right? Assessment. I think it's the sovereign leadership assessment.
Mhm.
I'm not sure which one I'm sorry, Michelle, it's terrible, that I can't remember, but I believe it's a sovereign leadership assessment where, you have the ability to look at yourself. How am I leading myself? How am I leading others? So that you don't have to be the decision maker in all things in your practice. That's really how you get that freedom. And when you can let others make decisions and others respond to emails and all of that, that gives you that freedom to be able to do exactly what you want to do in your business or not. Because again, not working, I don't really want people, I say this all the time. I get really frustrated because people work in and on their business all the time, and they never think about above and beyond, about living above and beyond. And I focus on the above and beyond all the time for people, so they can get out of that minutia. I mean, if I take it down to the lowest common denominator, I help people get from hands on to hands off, so they can live their life, right? But that starts with leadership, and that's what's resonating with me right now. You know, um, yeah. So I'd be happy to.
Wow.
So here's a verse. So I'm Catholic. So Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, one verse that I often think about is First Peter 4 through 10, right? Or chapter 4:10, which
Mhm.
reminds us, right? Reminds us to use gifts that we've been given to serve others as faithful stewards.
Mhm.
Help us be those faithful stewards. Help us create a faith-based business, that is for generations to come, and that is not manipulating. That we're the steward of our message, the steward of our expertise, and our calling is in a way that serves people. That we can be humble and still be bold. That we can be profitable and still be principled. that we can market our work without manipulating people,
Yeah.
that we can create organic lead generation that's rooted in truth and service and stewardship, so that we can transform and change the lives of others that are in our need. I remember a quote that came out of the towers, and it goes like, it's not a quote, it's a prayer. Lord, take me where you want me to go. Let me meet who you want me to meet. Let me say what you want me to say. And Lord, keep me out of your way. Amen. Amen.
And Lord, keep me out of your way, because sometimes we get in the way of
Excuse me, God, I need this. Excuse me.
or as my friend says, the Lord is trying to write our story. We're grabbing the pen, we're grabbing the pen.
That's right.
Oh my goodness, Lady Jen, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes,
And
thank you. Thank you for letting me share all this wisdom and expertise with all of you. I really appreciate it.
oh wow, thank you. And so there we have it. What an insightful conversation. So much wisdom packed into a small period of time. Now remember, you're not just going to be helpful, you're going to be hireable. And it's because you're not going to be building your business based on manipulative practices, but instead by building trust and by getting those 12 apostles.